Hey everybody! So today we had locals again, as usual, Irish locals held by Dungeons and Donuts in Galway. Thank you so much for hosting locals, as usual, guys. So, first place this week is something we all know and love. It's OTK Green, and Kevin came first place with his OTK Green deck. So, do you want to talk us through your deck? Show us your profile. If you have any cards that are kind of differ from a lot of the other profiles that are out there, like feel free to explain your reasoning behind them. I'll be asking questions throughout, don't worry about it. So go for it, show me what you got.
Sounds good. I don't think most of the deck is pretty standard, and I like to just keep decks as clean as possible, not throw in random text. So I'll start out with the babies anyway. It's just 4 Minomon and 1 Budmon. So the reason that I wanted to play the Minomon and the 1 Budmon is just because you get 1 extra K on the G burst with the Budmon, so that's relevant for Lilamon if you wanted to suspend something and then attack over it with 8K. Same thing for the Minomon as well, especially in the mirror it comes up if you're attacking over opposing Blossomons.
Yeah. I don't use, I think the other ones use like the Motimon and 4 Budmons usually, so the Minomon's nice to see. Cool.
Yeah, so like the Modimon obviously gives for like Chaosmon and for your Granks and level 6s, but it doesn't do anything for your Lilamon, so it makes them a bit weaker.
Okay, nice.
Rookies, I'm running 14 of them. I'm running 4 Argomon and 4 Goblimon as the 2-cost rookies. A lot of people run like Leilamons just to recur their rookies over and over, but I really prefer the 2-cost rookies because this deck plays everything else is either 1-cost or 3-cost. If you want to choke your opponent out on 1 memory and you have 1, it's really relevant to have like something to play for 2. Like you could do a Woodmon, but I think these are also really good.
Yeah, no, choking your opponent's memory out is very, very important, especially if they don't have a tamer in play.
Exactly. MVP, probably Palmon. So it's the promo Palmon that when Digiburst gives jamming to one of your Digimon, usually you're just giving it to a Grankoagamon so that it can swing through security safely.
If anyone has these Palmons that they're willing to sell, message me, please.
Then 2 Tentomon at the end. It can be pretty hit or miss, especially miss if you hit like Mimi or a Chaosmon, but it's a really good engine for when you're bricking and you just want that extra bit of consistency.
Yeah, no, it makes sense because like the majority of your deck is green, so ideally you would be hitting a green Digimon card, but obviously there is the off chance, but you've more of a chance of hitting a Digimon card than not, so.
Exactly. Yeah. So level 4s, I'm playing 4 Kabuterimon blocker from the starter deck, 4 Kabuterimon with the +1K, and 4 Vegiemon.
Vegiemon
Some
is
people
MVP.
run Woodmon. Yeah, Vegimon's like really nice just for like the 4 cost. So if you break really badly, at least you're not passing over a ton of memory. Kabuterimon could definitely change. You could play Stingmon or Gargamon here, or even Woodmon if you're seeing maybe a lot of rookie rush and you need the extra blockers.
Yeah.
But I just like the 1 evolution cost as well, and like the +1K is again relevant for your Lilamons.
Yes.
Ultimates, 9 of these.
Lovely.
So a lot of people play 2 Lilamon and 2 Cherrymon, but I really, really value Lilamon high because well, you'll see later on as well. But basically the inheritable is if you have a tamer in play, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So if you have that Mimi or whatever tamer out, it lets you control the board a lot more effectively. And it also like cuts off your opponent's stacks really early with the Digiburst and being able to attack over, which is incredibly relevant against yellow especially.
Okay, so you were obviously playing against a lot of yellow recently, which kind of made you value their Lila more. Is that correct?
Well, just as yellow is probably the best deck in the format, if not green OTK, I wanted to improve the matchup. And like if they build higher and they got up to their level 6s, it's really difficult to remove them from the board, especially when War Greymon can restand itself, so it plays around Nidhoggmon really well.
Yes.
And if they get up to Chaosmon, you're really going to have a bad time because all of your level 5s in this deck are 7k or less, so it can kill 2 off the board very easily.
Yeah, it's game over very easily with the Chaosmon.
The rest of the ultimates are 4 Blossomon, 1 Argomon, just for the Digisorption to get really quickly up to your level 6s and just be able to surprise your opponent having a champion in the raising and raise out of it, level or go up to 5 for free and then Nidhogg out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Uh, Megas is probably a bit of a contentious point, but I'm playing 4 Nidhogg, 4 Crankwagamon. Nidhogg, best card in the game. I'll say this a million times.
Yes.
Like, best card in the game. I don't know how anybody can play 2.
I'm
I
actually playing
understand
3, and honestly, I wish I was playing the 4th one, because when I went against you, you were able to choke my Nidhogg's out because you had one more than me.
Yeah. So, like, a lot of the time, people play around Nidhogg because they're just scared in their head around if you have it or not. But you always want to have it regardless. So I would always play 4. It's also massive insecurity the amount of times people have swung in with a mega and just get eaten up by the 13k.
Yes.
But Nidhogg is crazy good. Rank Wagamon is the card where the deck gets its namesake from, really. So Digiburst 2 to give +1 security attack to a Digimon. You could give it to a Nidhogg if you have it on board already, but most of the time you're giving it to itself. And then giving it jamming Palmon to then go with the next card, which is 2 Chaosmon. So
Brilliant
you play the Chaosmon on top, and obviously you could get to swing for up to 6 security and kill off one of their stacks on the board as well.
The OTK, that's not really an OTK.
Exactly. Yes, the OTK where you get an extra turn.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot of people actually play 3 Chaosmon, I've noticed. But I really couldn't warrant cutting. A lot of them either cut a rookie or a champion, and it's just too important, I think, to have like a larger base for your rookies or your champions to be able to get up to here in the first place. I just really don't like the consistency, and I'm not trying to high roll too crazy of an amount.
Yes,
I'm
of
just
course.
keeping with 2.
Definitely.
Last cards are 2 Needle Spray and 3 Mini. Needle Spray, crazy good. Most of the time it's just used with Nidhogg. Go up to 3 memory with a Mimi, go down to 1 with a Needle Spray to get rid of their Mega, maybe, that they've been trying to like hold on the board, and then wipe their board with a Nidhogg. Mimi, some people play 1, some people play 2. I would never play less than 3 in here.
Okay.
Probably wouldn't play 4, but it's so good. Like, you always want it, and the ability for people to memory choke you in this meta when you're sitting in your raising area for so long, it's just far too relevant.
Yes.
And then especially when it coincides with the Lilamon that I was talking about earlier, to give you that extra board control.
Yes.
And the fact that double Mimi is just an extra attack at any point in time, raising and then bringing out of raising and attacking is way too relevant in this sort of deck where you need to close out the game after you've played your Chaosmon. They're down to 0 security. And you need to get be able to go wide and get surprise attackers in there.
Okay, that's a very, very, very nice deck list. Now, when you were saying like most people play 3 Nidhoggs and 2 Mimis, I am one of those people, so I am playing all of that. But now I'm definitely considering changing up my deck list specifically from seeing yours alone, and the fact that you were able to do so well with it today. What would you suggest for someone picking it up?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, for this sort of deck with the Grand Quagmon OTK, it's very linear. It's not too complicated, but like the main thing about this format is what you need to keep in mind is stay in raising. There's far too many decks that are just going to destroy your level 5s if you end up going into them and raising and then trying to bring them out.
Okay.
You're not going to be safe at all going into your level 6s. A lot of people obviously play Hidden Potential as well in this deck. It's a bit more relevant in a Grand Quagmon deck because obviously here, your Nidhogg, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't need to go up to this for free. You're already getting its value on the Digivolution. And your Mimis, because you're running 3 of them, you're already securing your 3 memory most of the time. So your Grand Quagmon is always going to come out and it's always going to be on your turn. So Hidden Potential is just going to kill you off that way as well. It's very inconsistent, I found.
Okay. Because like the Hidden Potential was obviously put to 1 because it was like a broken card, but I just realized you don't play it in this deck at all. You found it as kind of a choke point for you, was it?
It just depends. So like if I was playing Hercules Computariumon from the starter deck when it has a cost of 4, or if I was playing Mega Gargamon with a cost of 4, then absolutely, because those cards get massive tempo when it's still your turn and you get their effects off. But in this sort of deck, you're not actually gaining anything by retaining your turn if you're going up into a Nidhogg.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much for sharing your deck profile as well, and
Thank you.
I'll see you next weekend.
Yes.